Good evening, class. This evening we're going to be discussing how to demonstrate your knowledge about what you're speaking about in your speech. It seems easy to talk about it right off the bat, but in all reality there's plenty of steps to really take to show that you know what you're talking about. First things first, whatever you're talking about, you have to do your research. If you don't do your research, then you're up creek without a paddle. There's no point in going up there without it. Do your research, understand what you want to convey to the audience, but do your research. You have to know your goal. If you go up there and you want to discuss something very important, but you don't have a goal, you're just talking about it, and at the very end say, hey, thank you guys, and you're done. There's no point in your speech. You have to know your goal. You have to know what your conclusion is, because that's the whole point in any paper, any speech, or anything of that nature. You have to understand your audience, who you're speaking to. With different demographics in our nations, the people in California are going to be different than the people in West Texas. They're going to have an attitude towards something completely different than what we're going to have an attitude about something. So you have to know your audience. You have to know how to come to them and how to speak to them properly and how to get to know them in a way. Choose the right persuasive approach. Are you going to come down on them hard, the old Baptist preacher, the fire and brimstone, or are you going to come at them easy and slowly approach that topic? You have to know which ways will prove your information is correct. Which ways, because you may have the right facts, you may have done your research and everything, but you have to come across with them the right approach. That is key. That's key. And also outline your points. If you don't have it organized, then it's just rambling on. You're going to lose your audience. It's just going to be hard. Another category that you go through, kind of another setting of it, is strong opening. You get that hook in, you get your audience, with they call it a cliffhanger, but you have them wanting to hear what else you're talking about. Then you sink them in, you reel them in. Offer persuasive evidence. Throw some stats out there, and stats can be deceiving. You can throw some stats out there, and people can say, hey, well, if you put it at this angle, it's going to go across positive for you. Put it at this angle, it's going to be negative for you. So you have to, at the very beginning, do your research and understand your stats. Address the counter argument. That's important, because if you know how people are going to come across to you, if they're going to say, well, actually you're wrong because this and this, you've already done your research and you said, well, yeah, that may be true, but so and so, then you're winning already. Another thing is to call to action. Like I said before, conclusion, but you have to call to what is going to, how are you going to come across with your conclusion? How are you going to make things happen is what people want to know. Another thing, kind of your outside the actual speech, outside the research, you need to, number one, practice. If you don't practice, you don't know what you're talking about. Again, you're going to up creek without a paddle. You have to dress appropriate. You go out there in basketball shorts and t-shirt, no one's going to take you serious. Nobody will. You have to relax. If you're sitting there stiff as a board, hands in your pockets, looking straight down, speaking to your into your book or whatever, to your notes, the crowd's going to lose interest. And the last thing is involve your audience. If you're in a speech and you just ramble on, and they're not a part of it, you're going to lose them. So those are the many ways to verify your information. So thank you, class. Good evening.